In this lesson, we are learning about surveying. So on lecture 1, we are seeing the introduction of surveying. Surveying is defined as taking a general view of by observation and measurement, determining the boundaries, size, position, quantity, condition, value of lands, estates, building, farmlands, and finally presenting the survey's data in a suitable form. The process of surveying is therefore in 3 stages, namely the first, taking a general view. This part of the definition is important as it indicates the need to obtain an overall picture of what is required before any type of survey work is undertaken. In land surveying, this is achieved during the reconnaissance study. The second stage is observation and measurement. This part of the definition denotes the next stage in survey, which in land surveying constitutes the measurements to determine the relative position and sizes of natural and artificial features of the land. Stage 3, presentation of data. The data collected in any survey must be presented in a form which allows the information to be clearly interpreted and understood by others. This presentation may take the form of written reports, bill of quantities, data sheets, drawing and inland surveying, maps and plans showing the features of the land. The next topic is types of surveying. On the basis of whether and curvature of the earth is taken into account or not, surveying can be divided into 2 main categories. The first one is plain surveying and geodetic surveying. In plain surveying, it is the type of surveying where a mean surface of the earth is considered as plane. All angles are considered to be plane angles. In geodetic surveying is that branch of surveying which takes into account the true shape of the earth. Then classification of surveying. For easy understanding of surveying and various components of the subject, we need a deep understanding on various ways of classifying it. Objectives of these classifications are to enable the students have understanding of the various ways of classifying survey. Survey is classified based on various criteria, including the instruments used, purpose, the area surveyed, and the method used. Based on the instrument used, survey can be classified into: the first one is chain tape surveys, compass surveying, plane table surveys, and theodolite surveying. Classification based on the surveys and the area surveyed. And number 1 is land survey. Land survey are done for objects on the surface of the earth. It can be subdivided into: the first one is topographic survey. This is for depicting the hills, valleys, mountains, rivers, etc. and man-made features like roads, houses on the surface of the earth. The second one under land survey is cadastral survey. It is used to determine property boundaries, including those of fields, houses, plots, and land. The third, engineering survey, is used to acquire the required data for the planning, designing, and execution of engineering projects like roads, bridge, canals, dams, and railways. The fifth is city surveys. The surveys involving the construction and development of towns, including roads, drainage, water supply, sewage street network, etc., and generally referred to city survey. The second one under classification is marine and hydrographic survey. Those are surveys of large water bodies for navigation, tidal monitoring, and construction of harbors. And the third is astronomical survey. Astronomical survey uses the observation of the heavenly bodies such as sun, moon, and stars to fix the absolute location of places and on the surface of the earth. We are done with lecture 1. So lecture 2, classification on the basis of purpose. The first one is engineering survey. Under engineering, we have 4 classifications. The first one is control survey, geological survey, military or defense survey, geological survey. On control survey, it uses geodetic methods to establish widely spaced vertical and horizontal control points. On geological survey, used to determine the structure and arrangement of rock strata. Generally, it enables to know the composition of the earth. On military or defense survey, is carried out to map places of military and strategic importance. The last one, archaeological survey, is carried out to discover and map ancient pillars of antiquity. Antiquity. The next is classification based on instrument used. And the first one is chain or tape survey, compass survey. On chain or tape survey, this is a simple method of taking the linear measurement using a chain or tape with no angular measurements made. On compass survey, here horizontal angular measurements are made using magnetic compass with the linear measurements made using the chain or the tape. On plane table survey, this is a quick survey carried out in the field with the measurements and drawing made at the same time using a plane table. On leveling, this is the measurements and mapping of the relative heights of points on the earth's surface, showing them in maps, plane, in charts as vertical sections or with conventional symbols. The last one is theodolite survey. The theodolite survey takes the vertical and horizontal angles in order to establish controls. And the last is classification based on method used. We have triangulation survey, the first one. In order to make the survey manageable, the area to be surveyed is first covered with series of triangles. The second one is transverse survey. If the bearing and distance of a place of one point is known, it is possible to establish the position of that point on the ground. From this point, the bearing and distance of other surrounding points may be established. A transverse station is each of the points of the traverse, while its transverse leg is the straight line between the consecutive stations. Traverses may be either open or closed. On open traverse, when a series of connected lines forms a closed circuit, example, when the finishing point coincides with the starting point of a survey, it is called a closed and traverse. Like the example here, on point A, B, C, D, A represents a closed traverse. Then on open traverse, when a sequence of connected lines extends along a general direction and does not return to the straight point, it is known as open traverse or unclosed traverse. Here is a representation. You can see A, B, C, D, and E. Then on lecture 3, classification of surveyors. Surveying is made up of various specializations known as sectors or classes as shown below. General practice surveyors. Surveyors under this class are mostly concerned with evaluation and investment. Evaluation surveyors deal with property markets, lands, and property values, valuation procedures, and property law. Investment surveyors helps investors to get the best possible return from property. They handle a selection of properties for purchase or sale by pension funds, insurance companies, charities, and other major investors. They also specialize in housing policy advice, housing development, and management. Planning and development surveyors, they are concerned with preparing planned applications and negotiating with local authorities, planners to obtain planning permission. The third is building surveyors. Their work involves advising on the construction, maintenance, repair of all types of residential and commercial property. The analysis of building defects is an important part of a building surveyor's discipline. The fourth is the quantity surveyors. They evaluate project cost and advise an alternative proposal. They also ensure that each element of a project agrees with the cost plan allowance and that the overall project remains with budget. The fifth is the rural practice surveyors. Surveyors in rural practice advise landowners, farmers, and others with interest in the countryside. They are also responsible for the management of country estates and farms, the planning and execution of development schemes for agriculture, forestation, recreation, sales of properties, and livestock. The sixth is mineral surveyors. They plan the development and future of mineral workings. They work with local authorities and the landowners on planning, applications and appeals, mining laws and working rights, mining subsidence and damages, the environmental effects of land and deep underground mines. And then there is a picture of a dump level, what surveyors do in mining, in mineral surveyors, what they do. And then the seventh is land surveyors. They measure land and its physical features accurately and recorded them in the form of a map or plan for the purpose of planning new buildings, and by local authorities in managing roads, housing estates, and other facilities. They also undertake the positioning and monitoring for construction works. That's the end of our lectures. Nasikia kitu nimeshema.